What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video we have a little bit of a different topic to talk about. We're not really going to be talking about too much in terms of upcoming Chapter 7 stuff or anything like that, because instead we're actually going to be talking about something that should be happening with the item shop in terms of old cosmetics returning for you to purchase if you're someone who wants to purchase these specific collaborations. Now, as you've probably already seen by the title or thumbnail of today's video, according to Sheena, Hypex, and a few others over on social media, it appears that with Chapter 7 Season 1, we're going to be seeing the return of the Naruto cosmetics in the Fortnite item shop, but also the Arcane cosmetics in the Fortnite item shop. Now, this is something that's very interesting to hear about because stuff like Arcane hasn't actually returned in the longest time, and we've actually had public statements before by, people who worked with the whole, Arcane franchise, people from both Riot Games' side and people from Epic Games' side, talking about how there wasn't really an opportunity to bring back the Arcane characters, which was an interesting little thing to actually see. It's something that we heard from, the word of Epic Games and, from the word of Riot Games wasn't supposed to ever come back because it just wasn't in their books, right? It wasn't something that seemed to be a possible opportunity for the future, and it was a very interesting thing because of how publicly vocalized it was when this first actually ended up happening with Arcane way back in the day. But now we're having a situation where, according to leaks, it appears we're actually going to be getting that Arcane collaboration returning to the item shop. Now, it doesn't appear like there's going to be a Wave 2 or anything like that. I know a long time ago we talked about a Wave 2 that Hypex had actually mentioned hearing about before, and nothing ever really came from that, but it is interesting to see, at the very least from the information that leakers are currently sharing, that we should be actually getting Arcane returning in the item shop, and of course Naruto returning in the item shop as well, sometime during Chapter 7 Season 1. And it's interesting how both Arcane and Naruto have had leaks before for new waves. If you guys don't recall, a long time ago, there were actually some leaks regarding some IDs for the Naruto collaboration, such as an adult/older version of Sasuke being one of the characters that was supposed to come to the game. And we kind of talked about before how it was interesting to see that being an opportunity, considering the fact that if you're someone who knows about older Sasuke, then you kind of understand why that would have been weird to kind of throw in Fortnite, but at least an ID existed at some point, and they were working on it behind the scenes at some point to actually have a wave 3 or 4 or whatever wave that would have actually been. I forget how many waves of Naruto we've actually had. I think it's only been 2 waves? It might only have been 1 wave though. I don't really know. But regardless of that, it's interesting to see that 2 collaborations that we've had leaks or rumors here and there before about multiple waves coming to the game are going to be returning to the item shop after a very long wait. And even if it isn't new cosmetics and just the older stuff, it's still interesting to see that Epic Games kind of, has managed to work out something with those organizations, those companies, in order to bring them back into the item shop. Now, of course, I know a lot of people will say, what about other situations before where leakers have said stuff like Kratos is going to return, and then Kratos never returned? And that is one thing we got to kind of keep in mind, is with all of these leaks, especially insider ones, is that things can change at any given point in time. I mean, there's been situations before where I've known about stuff that was going to be happening before it actually happened, and then the day that it was supposed to go live, there's a little notification, it's like, oh hey, apparently this has gotten delayed by a week or something. So sometimes there's last minute delays, sometimes there's even longer than last minute delays, but delays can be something that actually happened to the game a lot. And with the Kratos situation, as far as I can recall, it was never really an insider leak that I was going to be returning, and instead it was just them updating the cosmetics, updating the shop assets, updating little, shop news feed things, like a little pop-up that's like, new offer, returning offer, exclusive style, that type of stuff, that getting updated, and not so much, oh, an insider has told me that the Kratos cosmetics were going to be returning. And it became a whole entire big thing for a while on social media, people wanting Kratos to return. There was always more and more stuff, like shop tabs being added, the actual shop assets being updated over and over again, but nothing actually ended up coming from it, and to this day, Kratos has not returned in the item shop. However, with the Arcane and Naruto situation, this isn't a game file updating situation as far as I'm aware, but more so information from Sheena, Hypex, and whoever else is that had this information's insiders regarding this upcoming type of stuff returning to the game. So it seems a lot more likely that, if it's coming from someone else who has a source, that has gotten stuff right before for Fortnite, that it could potentially be more reliable than seeing stuff like an item shop image getting updated or something like that. However, at the same time, just like things that actually get updated with the game itself, there is still the chance that nothing actually comes out of it and it doesn't actually return, or last minute they decide, you know what, actually, we don't want to bring this back. So it kind of just waits to be seen, but at least as of right now, according to the leaks and rumors that have started to surface online, that Arcane and Naruto are apparently going to be returning in Chapter 7 Season 1 into the item shop. Now, we're not for sure, once again, if there will be more waves of those collaborations, or if it's just them kind of popping back up in the shop, but kind of expect the least out of it, just expect them to pop back up in the shop if they do, and not more cosmetics coming from these collabs. Until next time, however, hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another upload. So until then, peace out.